And Bradford with the Penny Pincher's Guide to Personal Finance. Back in October, Amex announced a revamp of its entire lineup of the Hilton brand credit cards. So in this video, we're going to focus specifically on the top offering that they have, which is the Amex Hilton Honors Aspire Card. So we'll start out by addressing what exactly are the big changes with what we have now versus what was offered before. And then we're going to go into what are the basic lineup, what are the different points multipliers and other base benefits that haven't changed. And then I'll wrap it up by helping you decide whether or not it's a card that's worth getting for you or not. So starting off by breaking down what exactly are the changes that we are seeing in this update for this year. So here's an email I got back in October from Amex breaking down these things in what I think is a pretty easy to read format. Starting off, we have the two main things, and that it is now has a updated Hilton Resort credit as well as an updated flight credit. So there's some good and some bad with both of these things. But overall, I think the intent is because there is a higher annual fee, they're helping to offset that by increasing the amount of credits that you can get. So starting off with the Hilton Resort credit, it used to be $250 a year, and now it's $400 a year. But it's important to know that $400 is split into the first and the second half of the year. So January to June, $200, and then July to December, the other $200. Now, I do really like this credit, and I like the one that was before as well, because it's not just things that you can spend on like add-ons, massages, food, whatever it is at the various Hilton resorts, but you can actually use it to pay for the resort stay yourself, which can really help save you and can potentially get you a free weekend somewhere if you do have a resort that's close by. So overall, moving up to $400 a year, I think it is great, even if it is divided up into two different sections. But whether or not you actually use this is dependent on whether or not you have resorts that are close enough by to use, or you do frequently actually vacation at Hilton Resort properties. And then moving on to the next one, which is going to be the $200 flight credit. So overall, I think this one has pros and cons from what there used to be. So what there used to be was a $250 flight credit that you had to pick which airline you were going to use in January, and then you were locked into that single airline throughout the entirety of the year. And then you could only use that credit towards actually like seat selection fees, paying for checked baggage, things like that. So you were pretty limited on how you could actually use it. You couldn't use it to upgrade from economy to first class. You couldn't use it to actually pay towards the price of your tickets. So it was very limiting in how you could actually use it. But if you did travel a lot, you could use it to buy your way into various airline lounges that weren't covered by the priority pass. But this change, it goes from $250 to $200, but you do have a lot more flexibility in how you use it. So this $200 flight credit is broken down into each of the quarters of the year. So you can only get $50 for every 3 months throughout the year. So that is definitely a downside, in that you can't actually use it all in one go. But the benefit is it basically removes the restriction of having to choose a specific airline that you're locked into throughout the entire year. And it opens up the ability to actually use the credit on basically anything that you purchase directly through the airline. So if you use your Aspire card and go and book flights directly through American or United or wherever you're going, that is going to be a $50 credit that you get back to you directly. Now, on the other side, I think this is really nice because if you want to go pay for upgraded seats to move from economy to first class, swipe your Aspire card and get that credited back to you. On the downside, because it is limited to the $50 per quarter, if you only take like one big trip a year, you're only going to get access to that $50, and then you are going to lose out on the other $150. So pros and cons on this credit. Overall, I would say that this is a good change because it does give you a lot more flexibility, even if it does add that additional restriction of it being broken up into the 4 quarters of the year. And then aside from those two big changes when it comes to credits, there's some additional changes that go in here as well. So they talk about a new way to earn another free ride reward. So previously, you had to spend an additional $60,000 to earn an additional free night stay. Now that amount has been dropped down to $30,000. So that's nice to be able to earn an additional one with half the amount of spending, but probably not going to be applicable for most people unless they're doing a lot of business trips and staying at Hilton's for multiple weeks and multiple months throughout the year. Additional thing is it adds $189 Clear Plus credit. So this is a similar credit, or is actually the exact same credit that is offered on the Amex Platinum card. So if Clear is something that you like to use, that is a nice benefit, and that will pay for your entire membership for a year. As well as it gives you complimentary national car rental Emerald status, which is nice. It gives you access to the Emerald Executive Club. So basically you can book and then you go choose whichever car you want out of the lot that's available. You get cell phone protection. So this is going to be the same cell phone protection that is offered by the Amex Platinum card. So if you already have the Platinum card, this doesn't do anything for you. But if you only have the Aspire card, put all of your cell phone payments on here, and that way you're going to get that cell phone protection for free. So that basically covers what are the big changes in terms of how the benefits have been updated. Aside from that, here are the other things that you can continue to expect is you're still going to get complimentary Hilton Honors Diamond status, which I've covered in previous videos, what that actually gets you in terms of what the value is. You're still going to get your annual free night reward, which is one of my favorite things in terms of being able to book at some place like a Waldorf Astoria. If you can get a standard room rate reward, you can get anywhere between $700 and $1,200 worth of valuation with just that single free night reward, especially since you're not going to have to pay for any sort of resort fees and taxes. It's all included with that one night stay. So if there's someplace you want to go that's close by for just a one night stay to go do something nice, that is what I'd recommend using that specific benefit for. And then when it comes to what are the standard ways of actually earning those points multipliers to earn as many Hilton Honors points as possible, you're still going to be getting 14 times points booked directly with hotels and resorts. So any sort of Hilton property that has Hilton attached to it anywhere in the name, you're going to earn 14 points per dollar spent. And that's going to be combined with the 20 points per dollar spent with the diamond status that you get by having this card in the first place. And then there's going to be the 7 points on flights booked directly with the airlines or AmexTravel.com or car rentals, as well as US restaurants. So this is one that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with, because if you do already have a platinum card, you're going to be much better off booking any sort of your flights with the platinum card, because you're going to get the 5 points per dollar spent, and then you can transfer that to the Hilton at any point throughout the year at a 2-to-1 ratio. So in effect, by using the platinum card, you're really getting 10 Hilton Honors points, and that's before they have any sort of bonuses where it's like a 2.5 or 3-to-1 ratio that do pop up throughout the year. If you do have a platinum card, definitely don't use your Aspire card to book any sort of flights unless you're using it specifically to take advantage of that $200 credit that you do get throughout the year. And then the last element of the points multipliers that still has not changed is anything that is not in any of the aforementioned special multiplier categories. You're still going to be getting 3 points per dollar spent, which in that situation, based on the average valuation of Hilton Honors points, you're much better off using just a standard cashback thing like the Citi Double Cash or the Wells Fargo Active Cash to get you 2% cash back. And then again, there's the other thing that why are all of these additional benefits coming out is because Amex is increasing the annual fee. So anytime they increase their annual fee, they add additional benefits, but it's going to be up to you to decide whether or not those benefits outweigh the cost. So this one's a pretty substantial upgrade in terms of the annual fee, and it's going from $450 a year to $550 a year, which is putting it on par with what the Platinum card used to be. So this is still a very expensive Hilton, or specifically hotel brand credit card. But if you are a big Hilton fan and you like to stay with them and travel with them a lot, specifically on business trips, or even if it's just for vacation, I think it can really be worth it. And then the last update that is definitely a drawback is that they are getting rid of the Priority Pass benefit that used to be with the Aspire card. So I think this is actually a really bad thing for you and me if you have the Aspire card. By getting the Priority Pass for free with the Hilton card, with the Hilton Aspire card, that was one of the biggest benefits I had talked about in my previous videos. Because the benefits of the Priority Pass, if you travel a lot and you didn't want the Platinum card, this is one of the things that really made it worth it, because you got access to all the different lounges other than the Centurion Lounge, which was really the only difference in terms of travel benefits that I could really point to between the Platinum card and the Aspire card. By losing that benefit, it's definitely a huge drawback and is really going to make you have to analyze whether or not this card is specifically worth it. If you drive to most of your hotel stays, doesn't really matter. If you were flying and having to stay in different Hilton properties, if you're getting reimbursed for the stay anyway, it's probably still worth it just to have the card to be able to earn that many more points. But it ultimately is going to be something that you have to consider. Since I already have the Platinum card in addition to the Aspire card, I'm still going to have the Priority Pass regardless. But the fact that I'm losing that if I only had the Aspire card, which is honestly something I was looking at in the future, was probably going to be downsizing from the Platinum card to just the Aspire card itself, because I do really like staying at Hilton properties. That's one thing that I'm going to have to reorient myself again when it comes time for that change. But ultimately, whether or not you actually get the Aspire card is going to come down to a couple factors. First, do you like Hilton? If you don't like Hilton, if you're IHG or Marriott or some other hotel chain instead, it's never going to be worth it to get the Hilton Aspire card or really any of the other Hilton cards unless it's the free one. For the Aspire card in particular, if you go to Hilton's a lot, if you do like staying at their properties, their customer service, all of the things that come with the Hilton brand, I think it can really be worth it. And it's really easy to get back that valuation of what you're actually spending per year in the annual fee. The $550, you can offset that pretty quickly. You can offset $400 of that just by staying at Hilton Resort properties. And then if you fly it all and you can use the $200 you get broken out throughout the year, you use it to upgrade your seats or pay for seats or pay for a checked bag, that's $600 right off the bat that is really easy to be able to recoup. And then going past that, the additional benefits that you get just from being a Diamond member automatically without having to stay the 60 nights per year that you would have to do without this card is a really nice upgrade. And you're going to find yourself saving money by all of the additional food benefits, the food and dining credit that you're going to get at a lot of properties, as well just as getting the free access to executive lounges and complimentary upgrades that I think are really nice by just having that automatic Diamond status. But even if the Aspire card isn't right for you, you still want to understand what is the best way to be able to maximize any sort of Hilton Honors points that you do have. And that's what this video is for right here. Thanks for watching. And from your first penny to your first million, we're here to help.